Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Shadow of the Ninja Reborn, an NES cult classic. It's the Tango treatment with this brutal 2D platformer. Is it ninja enough to be worth playing? Let's find out. Shadow of the Ninja Reborn is a remake of the 1992 NES game, which is probably best known for its modern mechanics and couch co-op. It and this are both 2D platformers that took a few nods from its then contemporary Ninja Gaiden. You play as either a male or female ninja, tasked to fight your way across 6 stages, each with a big beastie boss at the end. Like any good ninja, you have a considerable toolkit to learn and utilize. You have a normal sword attack, which can destroy some projectiles, and can get powered up should you find glowy orbs. You also have a long-range chain, which you can toss in 8 directions like Simon from Super Castlevania, though it is much slower and thus can leave you open. Knowing which of these tools to use when is core to combat. You have other ninja moves as well. There's a no iframes dash, a tricky ninja glide, and the ability to both hang and climb up most platforms and even some walls. You'll find a bunch of consumable items in the world to pick up and use, with most of these being weapons with different ranges, attacks, and damage, but you'll also find health pickups for emergencies. Gameplay is designed to be methodical. Enemies hit extremely hard and you have only one life, so learning positioning and optimal combat strats to take them down is much more important than just diving in. This is paired with a ton of tricky platforming, as well as a ton of stage hazards, particularly stage 4. Bosses are unique challenges, with many being clever and doing things like transforming. There's even a giant tank that you have to blow up particular pieces off of before you can continue. As a nice bonus, whatever's in your inventory when you beat bosses unlocks to be purchased at the start of the game later with the gold you acquire, making replays of the game both easier and more fun to experiment with. Should you die, and you will, you thankfully can continue at a stage checkpoint, and the more you die, the more the game feels sorry for you and gives you health items. The whole game can be played in co-op with a friend, though 2 players is locked to hard mode, which can be fun, though some levels are clearly not designed around the experience. And that's Shadow of the Ninja Reborn, a faithful remake with spruced up modern features and a difficulty so high you'll need to be a real ninja to take it down. So what do I like about Shadow of the Ninja Reborn? Well, learning this game's rhythm, systems, and your kit is extremely satisfying once you begin to master it, with there being tons of sub-weapons to figure out and use, and mastery of the chain weapon feels great. Additionally, levels have some very solid design. They're brutal, don't get me wrong, but the first 3 in particular feel especially tight, with alternate routes, secrets, and more to encourage replays. And lastly, like all Tango games, this one looks fantastic, with gorgeous pixel art that stays true to the original's aesthetic, but enhances it with a modern look. When it comes to the bad, this game is very difficult until you master its rhythm, and even then it can be quite the challenge. The difficulty itself isn't the con here, though. What is when the game starts doing cheap stuff like spawning enemies or bullets off screen, having enemies camp the top of ladders, and stage hazards having hitboxes bigger than the object itself. These lead to cheap hits and deaths. On a similar topic, there's definitely some problematic design issues. Quitting a stage will not save your progress normally, but if you quit from the game over screen, it will. Because of this, I lost my entire co-op campaign with my friend and we had to start over. And lastly, I'm really bummed you can't play co-op on normal, and having 2 people try to learn the game's mechanics under these circumstances is a recipe for disaster. I don't know what it is with this studio and having weird wrinkles to make their co-op worse in all the games they release, but they really should figure that out. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale. Must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And Shadow of the Ninja Reborn is a fantastic recreation of an impressive NES platformer with fun co-op, a high skill ceiling, and some gorgeous pixel art. It is therefore unfortunate that the game has several issues around its hitboxes, spawns, and cheap rather than fun design around its difficulty, but if you like technical and challenging retro recreations, you absolutely should check Shadow of the Ninja Reborn out. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Have you heard of the original Shadow of the Ninja? Do you enjoy this developer's other remasters? Let me know what you think in the comments, but regardless, go out there, and if you want a tough challenge, check out Shadow of the Ninja Reborn.